Last night's my horror night.
Welcome to the Last Video Store. I'm your host, Bud Haddonfield. In today's episode, I had recently saw my pal Christian at CHH do a video where he would talk about some of the best movies of year by year per decade, and I thought it was a pretty cool idea, so I wanted to do the same thing, and I figured the first time I do it, I'd go with the 90s. The 90s is probably one of my favorite decades right after the 80s, because the 90s had such iconic films. And this time I picked two movies, the main movie and a runner-up. So starting off with 1990, I have to go with the remake Return of the Living Dead. This was such a fun, iconic horror movie, a great remake. Tom Savini did a good job working with George A. Romero, and he pretty much introduced Tony Todd to us. So, the Night of the Living Dead remake, the runner-up for that year is going to be Tremors. Monster movies are really cool, especially when they're practical. And the 80s had some of the coolest monster movies, and it really transitioned over to the 90s. And just the look of the graboids in here was just absolutely amazing. I had this poster on my wall growing up, and it was just the coolest thing. Kevin Bacon, Fred Ward, the grandpa from the Three Ninja movies. The freaking graboids was just a creepy character, because kind of like Jaws and Psycho with the shower scene. How are you going to avoid being on the ground? So, Tremors, such a great movie. 1991 is I'm gonna go with Popcorn. Popcorn is a cool little slasher movie. Fun. The killer's going around wearing other people's faces in a fashion. I don't want to give it away if you haven't seen this movie, because not a lot of people talk about Popcorn. It has a very familiar cast. Pretty much everybody in here you've seen in other things, and is just fun and iconic, and that's all I can say about it. So the runner-up for 1991 is going to be Wes Craven's People Under the Stairs. This was one of my favorite movies as a kid. Wes Craven did a good job with it. A couple years from was going to turn out to be one of his biggest hits in the 90s, but People Under the Stairs wasn't bad at all. So 1992, my favorite movie from that year is going to be Peter Jackson's Dead Alive. Peter Jackson was a New Zealand director who made movies like Bad Taste, Meet the Feebles, and he struck it big with this zombie classic, Dead Alive. And he did a couple more movies after this until he made it even bigger with the Lord of the Rings adaptation. So the runner-up for that year is going to be Army of Darkness, the third movie in the Evil Dead franchise. Very iconic. It's different than the first two, but it takes a cool little turn, and it's a great addition to the story. So 1993 is going to be Leprechaun. Talk about Leprechaun all the time, especially the first one. I've absolutely loved this movie as a kid. Warwick Davis was a creepy little fuck, especially when I was about a 10-year-old kid. I'm like, man, this dude's spooky, especially when he comes out of that suitcase talking like the kid. We get introduced to Jennifer Aniston in her first time in an actual major movie. And I thought this movie was really cool. I loved all the sequels, especially all the ones with Warwick Davis. And even the WWE one wasn't too bad, and Leprechaun Returns wasn't that bad either. So the runner-up for that year is going to be the first Carnosaur. This movie pretty much is a similar, in theory, story to Jurassic Park, and it beat Jurassic Park out. I'm not going to say beat off because that's inappropriate, but beat out Jurassic Park. It was just a little fun, cheesy movie with Cheryl Ladd and fucking Clint Howard. So, Carnosaur. Moving along to 1994, and I'm trying my best not to mix up these years, because the way I do it is I just stacked up the movies. I'm trying to remember it the best way I can. So 1994, hopefully, my main movie is In the Mouth of Madness by John Carpenter. This is such a cool sleeper hit. It's like a fever dream. It's really fun. Sutter Kane is like a Stephen King-esque character. Even the initials are exactly the same. Similar. Yes. So the people who work for the publishing company cannot find him, and they hire this insurance investigator played by Sam Neill from pretty much all kind of shit in the 90s. He was in the third Allman movie, and he was in Jurassic Park, Alan Grant. And he has to search down Sutter Kane, and it's just a fun little spooky story. And the actress who played Jerry Dandridge's sister in the second Fright Night's in here, Julie Corman. Hey, Corman. So the runner-up for that year is going to be Brain Scan. This was another fun, cool movie from the 90s that had a video game aesthetic. Very similar, but it did better than The Lawnmower Man, and I thought it was really cool. Edward Furlong was coming off of both Terminator 2 and Pet Sematary 2, so this was a cool little film for him. So 1995, my favorite movie of that year is going to be Tales from the Crypt, Demon Night. And I did a episode on this a couple years back. Absolutely love this movie. The Tales from the Crypt TV show was one of my favorites. I remember staying up all the time, me and my brother, to watch it when they play the reruns on the Sci-Fi Channel. And when they made this movie, I got to watch it for the first time, and I fucking loved especially the boobies at the beginning, because she was an attractive lady, respectfully. So, yes. Runner-up for that year is going to be Tales from the Hood. Love Tales from the Hood. Can't say anything bad about it. It's a great, perfect film. I love all the stories. A lot of iconic actors. The director was just good at what he did. So Tales from the Hood is the runner for 1995. So 1996, my favorite movie is going to be Scream. Like I was talking about earlier with People Under the Stairs, Wes Craven had completely reinvented himself at this point. He made Scream, and it really redefined the slasher subgenre and pretty much started a wave on its own of very similar movies, especially very similar posters. So the runner-up for that year is going to be The Frighteners. Again, talking about Peter Jackson. Love this movie. Such a great, eerie atmosphere. You have Michael J. Fox, who plays Frank Bannister. He's kind of like a con man. He has some little ghost buddies that go haunt other people's houses and is pretty much forcing the homeowners to call him. He's like an exorcist or something like that. And it's a cool little murder mystery within it too, with very supernatural aura. So moving along to 1997, if my math's correct. Favorite movie of that year is going to be The Relic, like I was talking about with Tremors. Such a cool, iconic monster in this movie, something that's original in its kind. I remember watching this in the theaters in the 90s, and the fucking sounds was just amazing. And I still have a love for this movie. The creature was very good, done by Stan Winston. Tom Sizemore. You got the chick from Kindergarten Cop. Love The Relic. Actually, you get both the females from Kindergarten Cop. I'll be damned. So the runner-up for that year is going to be Mimic. Mimic, again, a cool creature feature. Guillermo del Toro. I hope I said the first name right. He pretty much knocked it out of the park with this movie. He has done some other movies in the 90s, such as Cronus. And I'm trying to think what else he had before this. But Mimic was really cool. Mira Sorvino, she's this doctor, and these kids are getting taken out by this virus that's spread by the common cockroach. So she and her scientist friend, or whatever the hell it is, they end up dating. They come up with this new gene of cockroach that wipes out all the other ones, and it's supposed to die within that generation, but they come back like full-grown men, and they fly, and everything's fun and games till the fuck cockroach start flying. So Mimic is a really good movie. I only have it in a 3-pack. The other two sequels that followed wasn't too bad, but the first one was just great. So 1998. My favorite movie of that year is going to be Dee Snider's Strangeland. Again, I talked about this before. Dee Snider portrayed the character of Captain Howdy, a.k.a. Carlton Hendricks, if I got this right. And Kevin Gage is a police detective. So think of Seven, somewhat like Seven. Dee Snider is this guy who talks to these people online, and it's kind of like Jigsaw too. It's like he kidnaps these people and he tries to make them live to get the most out of their lives, but it's kind of in a torturistic fashion. And we also get Robert Englund as like one of the biggest creeps in this movie. If you have not seen Strangeland, please check this movie out. It is absolutely amazing. I can't recommend it enough. So the runner-up for that year is going to be Halloween H2O. This was cool. I wish John Carpenter would have came back to directed this, but the studio did not want to give him the money that he deserved. It would have been great seeing Jamie Lee Curtis, John Carpenter, Michael Myers all together again. But we did get a pretty good movie. And like I said, with Scream, Kevin Williamson even worked on this movie, if I'm not mistaken. And just look at that movie poster. Very similar. The dialogue, they watched Scream 2 in it. Really cool. LL Cool J's the shit. I like LL Cool J. But it's such a fun horror slasher, and for being the 7th movie in the series is just absolutely amazing. So moving on to the last year, my number one movie for 1999 is going to be Sleepy Hollow. And there was no questions asked about that. Sleepy Hollow was absolutely amazing. I loved Tim Burton throughout the 90s. Just that gothic atmosphere. You got Sir Christopher Lee at the very beginning, Michael Gouch, the little dude who played Dumbledore. Just so much good actors in it. We got the pedophile Jeffrey Jones, and we got the uncle from Harry Potter that looked like a pedophile, but knock on wood, he wasn't. Anyway, it's the classic story of the Headless Horseman, and Ichabod Crane has to do what he can to survive it and stop it. Christopher Walken does a great job playing the Headless Horseman. It's just such a great movie that I can't stop saying great things about. I see what I did there. But that is my favorite movie of 1999. And the runner-up is going to be another supernatural movie, and that's Stir of Echoes. If you have not seen Stir of Echoes, please check this one out as well. Kevin Bacon plays this little guy. Him and his wife and son move into this newly rented house, and his sister-in-law has something to do with like hypnotizing people. And one night he's like, fucking hypnotize me. And when she does, she gives him the ability to unlock a portion of his brain that not everybody has access to. And from there he sees a ghost and he gets these apparitions, and it's just very good if you haven't seen it. So runner-up for 1999, Stir of Echoes. So that is this episode. These are my favorite 20 movies from the 1990s. Please put in the comments yours, because I really want to know what yours is. We can definitely talk about it, compare, contrast. I respect your opinion, you respect mine. We all get along because the horror community is just absolutely amazing. So I'm Bud Haddonfield. This is The Last Video Store, and I will see you next episode.
Michael Myers are the heroes on my past. Now the media is dying. Chucky and the zombies now up in cemetery. So bring me back those. I wanna come back to those times when all movies were so scary. I blow a red light with the creatures of the night. I wanna come back to those times and kiss them pretty clean. I wanna come back to those nights. Oh yeah, I wanna come back to those nights. I really wanna come back to those